Man, you wouldn't believe how a simple no thanks to joining some neighborhood group turned my quiet life upside down. It was like I'd declared war on the queen bee of Willow Pond without even knowing it. There I was, in my little lakeside cabin I'd bought after retiring from years of mapping out land boundaries as a surveyor, waking up at the crack of dawn to pounding on my door. Two guys in knockoff cop uniforms yelling about how I was squatting on community land just because I wouldn't sign up for Susan Blackwell's made-up rules. Heart racing, I peeked out the window, saw their badges glinting funny in the morning light, and thought, this ain't right. But in that moment, it felt like the whole world was closing in, making me question if I'd somehow missed the memo on turning my family's old property into her personal kingdom. Susan had shown up a couple weeks earlier, all smiles and clipboards, introducing herself as the interim neighborhood coordinator for Willow Pond Estates, her voice dripping with that fake politeness that hides something sharper underneath, like she was sizing me up, glancing at my last name, Ramirez, and deciding right then I didn't fit her vision of the perfect lakeside crowd. John, with all the new folks moving in, she said, leaning in a bit too close, we need standards to keep property values up and everyone cohesive, you know? Monthly dues, no loud music after dark, approved paint colors. It's for the greater good. But I caught the undertone, the way she emphasized new folks, like it was code for people like me with roots that went back generations but a surname that screamed outsider to her. I handed back her papers, said firmly but calm, I'm good on my own, thanks. This land's been in my family since my great-grandpa bought it fair and square in 1892 after laying tracks for the old railroad. Her face twisted just a fraction, that smile cracking into something colder, and she muttered, You'll regret this, Mr. Ramirez. Participation isn't optional under our temporary guidelines. As she stormed off, I felt this knot in my gut, not just anger, but a deep-seated worry. Was this really about rules, or something uglier, like pushing out families who didn't match her ideal demographic to make way for fancier developments? The fake cops that morning were her first real swing, and boy, did it sting. They barked orders through the door. Open up or face eviction proceedings. But my surveyor instincts kicked in, spotting the off-font badges, the wrong jurisdiction patches, and I yelled back, Show me real credentials first! They bolted like scared rabbits when I grabbed my phone to record, tossing a threat over their shoulder about community enforcement coming your way. Shaking off the adrenaline, I dug into my grandpa's old trunk that night, unrolling faded maps under the lamp, and there it was, the original deed, boundaries stretching clear to the pond's edge, including the spot where Susan had plopped her shiny new coordinator office like she owned the place. It hit me then. This wasn't random harassment. She'd overlooked the history, assuming folks like me were easy marks, recent arrivals without deep ties or legal savvy. But my great-grandpa's sweat had etched those lines in stone, and now they were my weapon. I called the real sheriff, old buddy Tom Harlan, who exploded on the line. Impersonating officers, that's felony territory, John. Get me photos, plates, everything. While waiting for his deputy, I researched Susan online, and damn, the pattern chilled me. Under different names in Colorado and Texas, she'd targeted Native and Latino communities near prime real estate, harassing them out for pennies on the dollar, all funneling to this shadowy outfit called Summit Properties, a megacorp turning family lands into luxury resorts for the elite. Things escalated quick after that. Susan sent goons to block my driveway, claiming safety patrols, their stares cold as they warned, Stay put till you comply, Ramirez. I documented it all, called Tom again, and watched real deputies haul them off for trespassing, but inside, I was boiling, thinking about how she'd manipulated good people like Deputy Elena Vargas, a fellow second-gen like me, whispering in her ear about community protection to get her on board without revealing the racist underbelly. She played me, John, Elena confessed later, voice cracking, made it sound like I was helping our people. But look at her list, Ramirez, Gomez, Lopez, all of us. While the Smiths and Johnsons got sweet-talked extensions. That fueled me. I teamed up with a sharp civil rights lawyer, Mia Lee, who saw the discrimination plain as day in Susan's records, immediate threats to Hispanic families, grace for the rest. And we built a case that exposed her office as built on my land, no permits, no rights, just bold-faced theft. The confrontation came blazing when Susan rolled up with her entourage, camera rolling, supporters in tow, declaring loudly, Mr. Ramirez, your violations threaten our whole community. Non-compliance means removal. I stood firm on my porch, heart pounding but voice steady. pulling out the certified maps. Susan, your office is on Ramirez land since 1892. Explain that under your so-called authority. Her face went ghost white, supporters murmuring as I handed out copies, her fake lawyer stammering excuses, and she snapped, "This is absurd. Old papers don't override progress." But the crowd shifted, doubt creeping in. And as Elena pulled up in her cruiser, Susan's facade crumbled, her threats turning desperate. "You'll pay for this interference!" From there, it snowballed into something massive. Elena's digging linked Susan to Summit's nationwide racket. Bonuses for every acquired property, explicit talks of targeting problem demographics, to clear land for golf courses and hotels. The FBI jumped in after Mia's complaint, Agent Kim briefing me. "John, your stand cracked their armor. We've got recordings of them plotting ethnic pressure tactics, bribes to officials, the works." Wearing a wire felt surreal, like I was in a movie, but Susan's final desperation played right into it. Flyers smearing me as a community terrorist, isolating me from neighbors who'd once waved hello. Yet it backfired spectacularly. Feds raided her office, Summit HQ, arresting her mid-rant, hauling away boxes of evidence on corruption reaching into government pockets. Watching her in cuffs, sputtering denials as agents read rights, was cathartic, but deeper. It was about reclaiming what my ancestors built, turning their legacy into a shield for others. The trial was electric. Me on the stand recounting it all. Jury hanging on every word as prosecutors played tapes of Summit execs laughing about relocating undesirables. Guilty on all counts. Susan got 10 years. The CEO 18. Millions in restitution flowing back to victims like the Gomez family, who rebuilt their farm stronger. Willow Pond got renamed Ramirez Reservoir in honor, and new laws, the Ramirez Rights Act, now guard against these scams nationwide, with me advising on prevention, speaking to crowds about spotting the signs. Hell, even Susan, out on parole after 8 years, showed up one rainy day, humbled, working legal aid now. I can't erase what I did, John, but I'm using what I know to stop it happening again. I didn't forgive, but I nodded. Change is messy, right? Looking back, refusing that HOA wasn't just about my land. It exposed how greed preys on history, on families like mine clinging to roots in a world that wants to pave them over. But here's the thing that still nags at me. Was Susan a monster? Or just a cog in a system that rewards pushing people out? Makes you wonder if justice really fixes the rot, or if we're all one bad incentive away from becoming the villain. What do you think? Have you dealt with neighborhood bullies twisting rules for their gain, or seen communities fractured by hidden agendas? Drop your stories in the comments, share if this hits home, and let's talk about how we spot the Susans before they strike. Hit like if you're all for fighting back, and subscribe for more real tales of turning the tables.